strikers next. We got the latest on Gyökeres. Stay with us. You mentioned you mentioned before Brian and Burmo was a bit of a saga. Well, Arsenal fans are now saying this is a little bit of a saga, isn't it? Because what's the hold up here? The big chunk of the fee has been agreed. So why is it taking so long to get this last bit done?
Not so much Gyökeres on its own a saga. I think you could class the fact that Arsenal have been looking for a striker for a few windows now as a saga. With regard to Gyökeres, Arsenal are finalising that deal now. It's understood the details on the conditions attached to the add-ons. That's what's being discussed just at this moment in time. So there's a £55 million initial fee that has been agreed with a further £8.5 million in performance-related add-ons. And it's those add-ons and how they're paid and how achievable they are is where these discussions are being centred on. Gyökeres playing some part in the club's pre-season tour. That can't be ruled out at the moment. Will he fly out with them tomorrow?
They're on Saturday, aren't they?
That doesn't look likely at this stage because it hasn't fully been agreed. But him playing some part in the tour hasn't been ruled out. As you said, they fly out tomorrow. But with regard to Gyökeres...
Should Arsenal fans be worried that this deal might not happen?
I don't think so, no. And there's no information that I've been given that would suggest that there should be a worry here. All of the worries and the concerns were in the past couple of weeks when there was such... It was so unsavoury between Gyökeres and Sporting Lisbon. He thought he could leave for less than £60 million. The president was very public in saying there's no way he's leaving for less than £60 million. And in the end, Arsenal have struck a deal where probably they're happy with the amount they're paying, even though it's less than probably what Sporting wanted. But Sporting have got the benefit of the fact that Gyökeres' representatives have waived their fees. Hence why everybody, club-wise, looks like they've got what they want within this deal, which is £55 million plus £8.5 million in add-ons. So around £63.5 to £64 million is what this deal will take in total. I think it is a case at the moment of when and not if Gyökeres will officially become an Arsenal player.
Did you want to come in there? You're just looking at me.
I love Viktor Gyökeres. I've said it on this show so many times. I might even go as far as to say I could see him getting 30 goals in his first season at Arsenal.
Really?
I watched him at Coventry. I was aware of him at Brighton. I think his physicality is sensational. I think he's just proven that he's a goal machine in the last 2 seasons in Portugal. I think he is the missing piece that Arsenal fans have been crying out for. I think they'll love him, and I can't wait to see him in the Premier League, just waiting for the deal to get done.
It is fascinating to see how he does, even if you're not an Arsenal fan, just to see how he copes with that step up in level, because it feels like he's been wanting it for a long time and building up to it. Right, coming up, we're going to think of some more palindromes, or I'm going to try and do that anyway in the next few minutes.
That is the thing.
Yeah, palindrome, that's what it's called. Madueke and Arsenal's potential new signing, Viktor Gyökeres, have one thing in common. They both shoot more than the current Arsenal squad. Gyökeres averages over 4 shots a game, Madueke over 3. Only Saka shoots as often. Arsenal, Arsenal, just talked about it there, they're going to be very active. They could bring, say, 6 players in this summer, so I presume they're going to have to be some outgoings, and who might they be?
Yeah, one of them is Reiss Nelson, actually, because Fulham continue talks with Arsenal over the signing of Reiss Nelson. You remember he actually went on a season-long loan to Craven Cottage last season, but got a really bad hamstring injury, ended his season effectively in December. But Marco Silva had seen enough and he wanted to bring him back. So the talks are over another loan, but it's expected that Arsenal will want to negotiate a permanent element to that deal simply because he's entered the final 2 years of his contract. They don't really want him having another straight season-long loan coming back with just 1 year left on his contract because they don't know what kind of market value Reiss Nelson would have there. There are other players that Arsenal will listen to offers for, we think. Alexander Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, remember him? And Albert Sambi Lokonga is still an Arsenal player. Zinchenko and Lokonga into the final 12 months of their contracts. Fabio Vieira has got 2 years left on his deal.
OK, good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Those guys might be on the way out from Arsenal. Kieran Tierney has already left. We will hear from him. Kieran Tierney has said it was the easiest decision of his career to return to his boyhood club Celtic. The defender who left for Arsenal in 2019 has agreed a new 5-year deal with the Scottish champions last month.
I remember my first interview at Arsenal. One of the media guys asked me, do you think you'll go back to Celtic? So it's something that's always kind of been spoke about with me, is when will it happen. And you never know for sure. But when the opportunity came, then it was a no-brainer.
And how big a role did Brendan Rodgers play in that, both in the communication with you to get you here and your desire to work with him again?
Yeah, he played a huge part, but ultimately as well it's Celtic, so I was always happy with that. But being with the gaffer again and people like John Kennedy, who I've always kept in touch with, is amazing. Like, I've loved playing under the gaffer. Like, played so many games under him, was so successful. I'm so happy. A great manager, and delighted to be back with him as well.
Right, let's reflect on that. I mean, he was a very popular player at Arsenal, despite having a lot of injuries, and he came and performed right at the end of the season as well. Do you think this is a good move for everyone, this move? Well,
I think Kieran Tierney summed it up there, the easiest decision he's ever had to make. You know, when you grow up in and around Glasgow and you join the club at 7 years old and then go on to play for the first team, become an important member of the squad, made his debut 10 years ago in April 2015 against Dundee, to then get the opportunity to go back to the club that you supported as a boy, it's like a dream scenario, I guess, for him. The only probably disappointment is he probably didn't play more when he was at Arsenal due to injury. And when you spend 6 years at the Gunners, you think the chances are I'm going to leave with a little bit of silverware. Just the one FA Cup under his belt is probably the other disappointment. They didn't get more silverware whilst he was there. But no question, this is a great opportunity for him. And Celtic fans love him. And he's a great lad. And everyone you speak to at Arsenal, anytime I've interviewed Arsenal players, they always talk so highly of him. He was a popular member of that dressing room. And I'm sure he'll be a popular member of this new Celtic dressing room as well.